I think and I was going to buy a ticket, and they said there was no ticket and that I should wait. So I was there when a young lady came to me and said, Madam, somebody asked me to give you this ticket. And I was like, who would that be? I know people know me, but why would anybody want to offer? Because I wanted to be on that bus because I needed to get to Kumasi within a certain time. So I was standing trying to find out from the lady when this gentleman comes to stand behind me and says, so, Madame Rosalind. And the moment the person said, Madame Rosalind, you know where the person was coming from. So I turned and I couldn't make him out. Then he said, oh, he hugged me and he said, I know you won't make me out, but this is, then he mentioned his name. And I was like, how? And he says, yes, this is what you did. He had gone on to become a special engineer at the university. When I left Kumasi, that was in the late 90s, mid-90s, 1995, and came back to school. I hadn't gone back to see them. At that time, there were no mobile phones. There was nothing. So you would have to do your connections. I was crying because when he said, this is what you made out of me, I didn't think it was my making. So we sat down and we were chatting, and he said, look, when I left, he felt bad because no teacher had impacted and believed in him like I did. The English that I was teaching them, the little broken French and all that, and how important it was for them to get things done in a certain way. I spent only 2 years in that school, but his year group, I think they were the first batch who wrote the SJHS or something. And they would always come, every now and then, they would come and look for me. Then one day, somebody called and said, oh, Madame Rosemary, because you're already doing well. And I said, oh, yes, I don't need it. I'm happy to see all of you do well. I didn't want to be a teacher because my mother is a trained teacher. She taught for almost 35 years, and it was too much work. But hers was a calling. Hers was a calling. Oh, you know those times. I have friends who are teachers, and you ask them, and it's like, truthfully, and I'm being honest, some of them feel that, oh, omo enya university anko, omo enya baby anko, tino, omo koshe teaching, omo nya juma pebia, omo beja yako. It's something that a lot of people say it, because it takes a big heart and kindness, like it's been said, and patience. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, class 1 teacher. Because class 1 there, and then kindergarten, then nursery, that is where we start. So that is where the raw materials are brought. It's for you, the teacher, to shaping and fashion us. Your handwriting. Come again. Yes, you mold and carve. So we've brought the clay to you. The handwriting, the teaching, the speech, the mannerisms, we pick it from class 1. So if you are a class 1 teacher, you've laid the foundation. It's a foundation in ya. Forget it. And so please don't, even though Yaketua was true as teachers, you will definitely enjoy it here. Not nearby Betuaoka. It's not the pay. It's not the pay. It is seeing that you've made some. I mean, can you imagine how you would feel if you have a child, you train a child who one day becomes somebody prominent in society? Not prominent as a politician or anything, but somebody who is making an impact. You have a child, especially a kola na only confidence. Or felese nitiyewu. I worked with a child like that. At JHS, he was, I mean, when we were going, the parents didn't have confidence in the child. And I said, oh, you leave him, he will do well. Among his batch, My own nephew, he went to Richard School. He had 6 A's, 6 ones, they call it, and went to Prempeh College. He plays basketball. And so, exams time, the mother was worried. He did business. The parents were like, on your science. He said he wanted to do business. That year, he came to play in the Sprites basketball competition. When their results came, he had 6 A's and 3 B's. He read business he's in level 300, reading business at the University of Ghana. And one day, I didn't know, they were chatting with my children and he said, Auntie Rose, or your teacher, but I don't see myself as a teacher, even though I like to work with children and all that. I do mentoring as part of it, encouraging people, using our own life experiences to encourage them. So you as professional teachers, I always say that help the child to become somebody. It's just like your home. When you train your children well, you invest more in the child. When the child is older, the child has more in him to also pour out for you. Now, so when I'm training in school, how do you expect that in your old age? Yakasa koto hypertension a draw 600 cedis. Obenya 600 cedis no dia show. So these are things that we always need to talk about. But you have to personally think about it. That you are not doing it for you are not doing it for Abai. Abai here or also our employer. But what are you putting in the child? Because you can only get as much from the child now and in the future just as what you put in. It's the seed you are sowing. How are you nurturing the seed to ensure that it grows? It's food for thought. Eugene, are you ready for us? Please. We were only whiling away the time to wait for you, so. You won't come up, okay.
Hello. Good afternoon. So, are we okay? Satisfied? Water in? We are fine? Not sleepy? Or we should do some jumps? We should do... Okay, can we be upstanding? I learned this thing from a teacher, so let's be upstanding. And I need a volunteer. In fact, 2, a male and a female. 2 volunteers. I love teachers. Please come up so that they will all see you. Now we need a male. So I think we should have brought prizes, you see, for the first people participating. Chocolate. Please, the males. Oh, you are shy? Oh. Please do. Hello. Not a crew, a teacher. Everybody's looking back. Please give it up for you. Give it up for you. Perfect, perfect. Please, do you know yourselves? Do you know what we are going to do? Okay, so we are going to spell Ubuntu. And you are going to spell with your body. And we are all doing it together, but they are leading us. So wherever you are standing, make sure that you are comfortable. The chair is not hindering you. This one will give prizes. Sylvia, let's look for a prize. The one who can spell Ubuntu correctly and with more swag. Okay, with your body. Oh. When I say body, I don't mean do your finger like this. No. Your whole body should move. Okay? So, can we try? Please. You see, some people are doing videography. Instead of your children will do the same. You understand? Okay. So, can we start? This is trial. Trial. Hey, this woman, she mean it. Oh, she mean it. She mean it. Any challenger. So U, letter U, capital U. B. Please do as they are doing. U again. Please, are you writing to the left or to the right? Okay. Letter N. See, the lady is spelling this way, and he is spelling this way. Others are going up, others are going. Okay, T. Chai. And then the last one, U. Please, do we get how it's supposed to go? Don't clap now, it's your turn. Okay, so let's spell Ubuntu. You mention it and then you say it. Ubuntu. Okay. Some people didn't complete their B. Clap for them, clap for them. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So you have all eaten, you have energy. Abi, you didn't see me eat. So I don't have much energy, so forgive. But I'm hoping that this next section will be smooth, we'll understand. We are going to practice the facilitation we are talking about, okay? And when we started, Sylvia said, God is with us. And that is because this was quite impromptu. But we'll still do it and then we'll make it work. So what has changed? What do you see? The setup has changed. And what were the 3 effective keys for facilitation we talked about? Active listening, questioning. What kind of questions? Open-ended questions. And then using probing questions, yes. And then the third, group management. Group management, what does that mean? What does it entail? So soliciting participatory, positive environment, an enabling environment, managing time, managing the objectives, setting clear goals. So the managing groups or teams, it's quite broader. Okay, so we just have to keep these 3 in mind. So 1, our setting has changed. So when the student comes in their classroom, same room has changed, you begin to wonder, what are we doing today? They begin to become curious. Just by you setting up the place, you've not done anything. So already, you've ticked 1. You've not asked any question. You've not even told them the topic. Do you know what I'm going to teach you? But already you are curious, right? So that's what we are doing. And then I started with some, what do you call it, Kra? Icebreaker. That could be your check-in. So a check-in does not necessarily mean you asking them the question, what are you grateful for? No. Just something for them to feel lively. So they've gone for lunch. Sometimes they eat banku and they come back. You don't expect the same energy you had in the morning. So you have to whip it up a little bit. It didn't take long. Did we take long? And they didn't need to think that much. They are just moving their body and everybody was smiling. So already we've taken that. That is a positive environment we are creating, right? Okay. So before I tell you about the topic we are doing today, I want us to discuss this. Who has heard we live in a global village? The world is a global village. Who has heard it before? Okay, at least every table. Sweetheart, is it possible for you to join a table so that it's easy for the communication? Thank you. So when we say the world is a global village, my help, what do we mean? What do you understand by it? Please, there's a hand.
It means that the world is becoming smaller and closer to each other.
Smaller and closer to each other.
Yes, because when we talk of global village, we know how village settings are.
Okay.
We just move a step to another person's house. You need a help, somebody is already there to give. So if the world is becoming a global village, it's more or less you can reach out to anybody at any time through the innovation of computing on ICT.
Fantastic. Give it up for her. Okay, anybody else? You see, when she said the world is coming closer, I didn't say, no, you are wrong. Yes, you're right. I just said, She herself, she felt I need to add something. Right? Because I was going to ask, so does that mean the continents are clashing? Because another student may be thinking like that. But she brought the thought of a village. And I'm sure every child can relate in a way what a village is. Okay.
And I'll say that the world is becoming a global village because of the power of technology.
Okay. So how is that power making it a global village?
Yes, it's helping because now a majority of people are using phones. That's what we call the smartphones. Others have other gadgets like laptops and other, and it's making communicating easier.
Okay.
People are seeing pictures, making video calls, and a whole lot.
Okay.
So that is bringing the world
So
together.
the fact that I can talk to you easily without coming to your doorsteps makes it feel as if we are neighbors. Fantastic. Now, what did I just do? What she said was correct, but I just expanded on it. So she said technology has made it easier for me to communicate with you. Why is that important? Why does that make it a village? The fact that there's a closeness. Now I feel like I can talk to you anytime I want. That is the point I want from her, but she didn't complete it. So I just add on to it, as if we are conversing, or I'm affirming what she just said. Do you understand? Okay.
Okay, I would like to add some to what the two of you just said. It's actually a global village because what concerns me in my location equally concerns another person in a different location.
That is interesting.
Sure.
That's interesting. So now
I'll
we are
keep
moving
it
away
short.
from the technology in a way to even issues that bother us. That what happens in America can affect someone in Somalia or Ghana. You understand? Okay. So we know what a global village is, or at least we have an idea. But have you heard that every village is now global? Have you heard that phrase before? Okay, so if we can have the screen. So I want you to discuss, think about it. Every village, the world is no longer a global village, but now every village is global. What do you think that means? I want you to discuss it in your groups. Pick on the words, expand it. What do you think it means in the next 2 minutes?
Well, the village is
Let's wrap up.
once it is something that is yes, you see the social media, Facebook, and other
Okay.
Sugu is a village plan.
So who can tell us, what do you think
Right now, anything that gets
by that statement, what that means? Now every village is global. All eyes on me. little children. Please, when I say all eyes on me, you tell me all eyes on me. All eyes on me. I learned it from a kindergarten teacher. I like it. Okay, that means like, give me your attention. Let's stop the talking. Okay. So what do we mean? What do we mean? The world is now global.
What I understand the village is now global means that now every village has television. Every village is now connected to the world through technology. So what we were thinking that you have to move from the city to go and tell them in the village, before you get there, they are aware. They can tell you more than what you know. So there's no village now, per my perspective.
Interesting. Any new ideas? What did your table discuss?
I want to just add that due to technology, communication, and transportation, even the smallest village is connected to the larger world.
Interesting, yes.
I also think that no matter where your village is, if something happens, people get to hear through social media. Let's say I stand in my village somewhere, I'm doing something good. Before I realize on the social media, Facebook, TikTok, everybody gets to know about it. We even think there's a big community somewhere, but just a village somewhere. So I think that because of the internet, whatever that happens in a village, everybody around the whole world will get to know about it. So that makes it globalized.
Any last one? Yes.
All right, so I want to talk about the village we are talking about. Whatever you are saying is the same thing. It's correct. But then it's the perception of the village setting I want us to look at. I think when we are talking about, in this context, when we are mentioning village, it's talking about your location, wherever you find yourself now. But not typically, let's say, where there's a global village. So we are talking about the village. But then the village is standing for wherever you find yourself. Yes, so let's take note of that. That is what I want to add to.
Pure learning. Interesting. Okay, so expanding on that, the world is a global village versus the village is now global. You go into your child's room, he knows things that are going on in US, in Canada, in his friend's house, even sometimes before you hear about it. He can sit in his room and apply. Yesterday, I had a call from a university in Canada, and they were calling to talk to my little brother. I'm like, how did they get to know him? He has applied for a program, a leadership program. This boy is just 16 years. I'm saying just. He's grown small. But I was shocked. And they are calling to find out, is he coming? He's in his room applying, and someone in Nigeria will also apply, someone in Canada would apply. So he doesn't need to be physically in Canada to apply for that program. So from his room, he can connect to everywhere in the world, just as anyone in the world can also connect to him. So the two work together. So now that we know this, going forward, what are the skills you think you need to possess to be able to maximize this gift that your village is now global, the world is now your village? What are some of the skills that you need? Or what are the subjects you need to learn? What do you think? Computing, okay. Communication skills, okay. I don't like this table again. Please, another table. Technology, okay. What else? This table, I've not heard from you. Collaboration, interesting. That moves us away from tech. Science, okay. Literacy, interesting. Anything from this table? All the subjects. Okay. What are the 21st century skills? Again, you remove ambiguity from their answers.
Like I just went in a bit, like the first start was, you said, which subject should we study?
Subject was
And
because I didn't want to limit you.
Every subject, but not necessarily the subject, but to develop the 21st century skills that they are mentioning, the collaboration, the presentation skills, and all that. If not, we might think of learning only the STEM.
Okay.
But in philosophy, in history, you can communicate.
Fantastic.
In botany,
yes,
you can still present things in ICT.
Fantastic.
So it is the skills that we are to concentrate on, but not necessarily which subject we are learning.
Okay.
Thank you.
That is one side. Yes, the last one. Be good with social media. That's interesting. So I like the fact that, well, it started with technology and the AIs and what we think makes the world global or a village, right? To collaboration, the human skills. There's one skill today I want to talk to you about that is also very, very important, and companies look at it a lot. It is ranked one of the top 10 in-demand skills in the world when an employer is looking for you. Who can guess what it is? Coding. Okay, let me make it easier. It's more of an interpersonal skill, a soft skill. Artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence, okay. Yes, that's part of the top 10, but unfortunately, it is not my number one today. Yes.
Creativity.
Communication, okay. Pardon?
Creativity.
Creativity, okay. What else? Teamwork.
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. Who said it? Please give him toffee for me. Give him toffee for me. He was not even sure. Yes, so today I'm going to talk to you about critical thinking, right? How you can develop it, what it is, how you can even encourage your children to be critical thinkers. So you see how I've introduced the topic to you in a way without telling you or coming to the class. Okay, we are talking about critical thinking. What is critical thinking? But if you can show me the slide, the next one. So this is my objective. I can just come and say, okay, number one, the students have to know critical thinking. So I come, what is critical thinking? And they have their workbooks in front of them. Oh, let's debate what is critical thinking, because that is what is written in the workbook. But we are conversing, we are learning, and before you realize, you've learned that emotional intelligence and other things are also interpersonal skills, but it wasn't part of my lesson. But now you have it. Do you get it? This is the power of facilitation. Okay. So this is what I have in mind that we will do. Okay? We'll try and cover all, but I hope that when you are facilitating, indeed, you cover all. Okay. So the next one. No, the next, yes. So this is what I talked about without really letting you read everything. So right now, you know that it is one of the top 10 in-demand skills. I didn't make you read it as a passage, but it's in your head. You remember, right? And that is important to know it. Okay, so what now I can ask, what is critical thinking? Again, let's talk in our groups. What do you think is critical thinking? Oh, you can discuss, so. No silent discussion. So what is critical thinking and why is it important? Okay, let's do it together.
Okay, let's round up. How many of you feel you have the answer to what critical thinking is? Oh, you don't trust yourselves. Okay, this table. Your table too.
You, we are not sure. You are sure that you don't know, or you are sure that you know? You know. Okay. Your table, you are good? You know what it is? You are sure? Okay. But do you realize has anybody sat in a class that you've been taught critical thinking before? Please, who has ever been to a class that they've taught critical thinking before? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Montessori for you. Please, who else? So a few of you. But the rest of you, were you able to contribute, even though you've not been in a class for critical thinking? So you see how we all have the answers in us. One way or the other. We may not have the words, exact words, but somehow we can contribute to the topic. Once we have the understanding, again, it goes with the check-in and how we did the foundation coming into the topic. So it gives you an idea. Okay, so I want you to believe this in every child. They know it. They know it, but you just have to guide them so that the words that you want to hear, they will now pick it up and add it to their definition. That is all. So what is critical thinking? And why is it important? Let me mark you people. Yes. I don't want this table again. I want this table. Please, I want this table.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Yes, so critical thinking is the ability to understand a problem and draw logical conclusions to them.
A problem and draw logical conclusions to them. Okay? Anybody add on, disagree, agree? Anything?
Add on, please.
Add on. Hey, Montessori.
Okay, so is the ability to reason through a situation by way of analysis, evaluation, and interpretation.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Anybody else? This side now, you are failing me. You people say something now.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes. Who is here? Okay, I'll come to you.
Yeah. So,
hey, is it from Google or ChatGPT?
Our group.
We
came out with So our group came out with vigorous reasoning and analyzing facts and evidences to find solutions to a particular issue.
Okay, last one. Okay, last two. Or you say why is it important here?
So critical thinking is a cognitive process that involves analyzing, evaluating, interpreting information systematically.
Okay. Now I'm seeing the teachers in you. The way you are doing the definition. You see?
Okay, with critical thinking, you'll be able to psych the kids so that they come out with a logical reasoning or a reason that will give you a meaningful answer of whatever you want to find out from them.
Interesting.
And also, it will help you to evaluate them to know what they have been able to achieve so that you can proceed with whatever you want.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Clap for yourselves. You've done well. You've done well. At least you have the answer. Now, this is before I come and teach you what I think it is or what per literature it is. Okay? So we are soliciting ideas. So why is it important? My table. You said you are sure you know. So why is it important?
Give solutions. Okay. To give solutions to problems. This table.
Vegetable tax.
Okay. It makes one to take an informed decision
Informed decision, yes.
On a situation.
That's interesting. And how many times do we make decisions in a day?
Several.
So would you say it's important?
Very.
Again, I digress a little for you to know the application of critical thinking. Because sometimes when you're doing definition, you may think it's just something for the books. But critical thinking is something that is personal as well. So she mentioned about decisions. Then I asked the kids, or myself, so how many times do I make a decision? And how many times do I consciously make sure that I am applying critical thinking skills to arrive at the informed decision that I want? You understand? I think the cameramen were also saying something. We should ask them something.
I would say if one employs critical thinking in reasoning, the person makes decisions which are not based on dogmatism and prejudices.
Interesting.
Therefore,
oh, and you'll find a student like that in your class. You will definitely find.
Therefore, any conclusion drawn can be used for any meaningful purpose.
Wow. 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 Interesting. We thank God. Okay, so can I have my slide?
I think.
Oh, he wanted to say something. Please allow him. Our media guys don't want to be left out. It is not just for teachers. Please allow him. Take him a picture as he's answering.
Okay, so what I know about critical thinking is you thinking outside the box, making decisions which are very crucial at a particular moment, where you need to come out with a decision that really affects the situation at hand. That's what I understand by critical thinking.
Thank you. Please give it up for him. Please give it up for him. Okay, the definition of critical thinking. The next one, I think. I think the next two. Yeah. This, yes. So can I have a volunteer to read this for me? Just 3, so 3 paragraphs.
What is all right, so I have the mic here. So what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the ability to analyze information using reliable evidence and making a logical and balanced conclusions. It involves researching, evaluating evidence, and using your own knowledge to find a solution or reach a decision. Critical thinking requires students to engage in a deeper level of analytical thinking to reach a meaningful understanding of a topic.
Thank you. Please, if you want to talk, you to hold the mic. Okay, so we've said a lot. What are the keywords? What are the things that are jumping up at you? Analysis, ability, researching, evaluating, evidence. It makes you see the bigger picture. And how often is it important that we see a bigger picture in a situation? Or have you been in a situation where you wish you had a bigger picture before making the decision? Who can share with us? He said, we want the some that are not secrets. So for you, all of them are secrets. Is there any decision you made? Maybe even the choice of food. Someone said there's wache, there's kinky. And it just went by feelings.
When they come first year, they don't know what to do. So they will go first term, second term, or first semester before they realize that, oh, I want to do maybe carpentry, but I choose electricals. So sometimes they don't know the bigger picture before they enter.
So critical thinking could have helped them there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can we see the next slide? I don't know what's inside. Okay, so I think we already spoke about this when we're talking at first. We talked about the skills that are important to critical thinking. Some of us use different words, okay? But I want us to focus on these 4. But before we, no, I'll do that later, okay. So, for you to be a critical thinker, who here thinks they are critical thinkers? 90% of the time. 70%. 50%. 30%. Do you believe you're a critical thinker most of the time? So I started from 90%. Hey, yes. Okay. 70%. Be truthful, oh. Those of us who are just like 10%, we give it to God. Offertory. When we remember, then we remember. Okay, so today we want to develop critical thinking, and we'll have a little exercise, okay? So what are the skills? Who can read it for us?
Hello, we always have the mic.
This table,
yeah.
Have you paid us some money?
This is the speed race. The speed race, so we always have the mic. I think I saw observation. But it's
Put it up for him.
Yes. Observation, interpretation, evaluation, inference.
Interesting words. So, can the group help me? Ladies, so everybody needs a sheet of paper. So we've done group work, now you're going to do individual. But I'm not marking it, so please don't be scared. Pick a sheet each. And I want you to write these 4 words. Okay? Leave spaces. Please, don't Google it. No ChatGPT. I beg you. Now, these 4 words, I want you to write your own definition. Please put the words on for them. Your own definition. What is observation? What is interpretation? What is evaluation? For the purposes of this meeting, please, let's stick to English language. I beg you. What is inference? Try as much as possible not to copy anybody, please. We are examiners here. Thank you, dear. And then for each word, I want you to write the percentage that you score in. Am I observant? How do I interpret things? Am I better with interpretation skills? Am I better with evaluation? Am I better with inference? And we'll see how we can develop all of it. All 4. You define all 4 and then you score yourself. So 2. I'm not scoring you, you are scoring yourself. So per your own definition, how do you rank?
So 3 more minutes to go. I don't want essay. I just want short definition. And then you score yourself percentage, so over 100. Yes, are you observant? You score yourself. If it's 10%, please be sincere. Okay, we should be wrapping up. We are done. Hey, some students will do fast. So facilitation is not just about group work. There's also the individualism as well. Do you get it? Okay, let's wrap up. Last minute. Conclude your essays. Maximum is 100%. Minimum is 0%. I'm sure you are the teachers that want to see every word inside the thing. Ditto. You don't want to make a mistake. Okay, so any volunteer who can share with us what their definition is, their highest score. So pick one of the words that you scored highest. Tell us your percentage and what you think the word means. Yes. Just your highest score.
Observation. For myself, 90%.
Chai, 90%.
Yes. What I know is observation is the use of all the senses in order to get an information.
Okay. In what way are you observant? Prove to us. How do you show that?
So, from what I know, as I said, I use all my senses. So I use eyes, sense organs. So I can use my eye to look at something and get information. If it's a smell, I can use my nose. It's also an observation, my ear.
I mean, give me a practical example of how you've been observant, even today.
Even today, when I entered the room, I would say that I felt the room was chilly.
Good observation.
Yes. I also observed the food was good. It's also part of observation. But on a more serious note, I observed how the delivery and everything was going, and I'm getting a lot of information to take.
We thank God. Okay. Another person, the last person for their highest score. I don't hear from this table a lot. Let me hear from them. Anybody? Any of you?
So, by this interpretation, I scored myself 91.5%.
31.5?
Yeah.
Interpretation. Was that your lowest?
So that's all you want the lowest.
No, was that the lowest?
No, that's the highest.
31%.
91.5.
Ah, 91.5. 0.5 anything.
0.5. So,
Okay.
After observation, you explain the reason why and something happens. Once we're able to get available options for solutions, that will be able to solve that.
Okay, so you are finding out why something happens. Okay. Next person. Oh, yeah, last year you didn't tell me to do my hair well. Oh.
All right. My highest score was 90, and that's the inference.
Okay.
And I think I scored high there because I use it the most. I'm actually a research assistant at UEW. So, like, we actually make deductions based on like the statistics. Today's presentation was full of rich statistics about the state of our education, up to even how we are to improve upon our students. So, like, we make a lot of inferences to know that should our student, I'm talking about UEW, let's assume the undergrads, first years, should they score, let's say, about B plus on average, given the next 2 years in their level 300, all things being equal, what do we stand to achieve in the department? So we actually analyze that to say, okay, this is their first time. Probably they came in with a lot of problems from the house. As you rightly advise that we should go back and check the reason behind the reason for the reason.
Yes.
So at first, maybe we did not know the reason why they scored a P. But with inference, we can be able to foresee and make a foresight that should we be able to now know the reason behind the reason, then the B will now translate to an A. So let me make it more practical. Today's program, I actually came from Kumasi, even though I'm in Winnipeg, but I came from Kumasi. So I'll be going back to Kumasi. Like I can infer that this program will have a positive yield in the country, because people were talking about we rolling it out to the Ghana Education Service, of which I know we'll get there. What is the assurance that this program will be impactful? Even we, the teachers, look at the kind of learning that we are even getting now. How much more the student? So per inference, we know that the program will be impactful. Thank you.
The other side of inference, how many times do we observe something and then we jump the interpretation, the evaluation, and then we go to inference? We observe, then we infer. How many people have done that before? But it's step by step, and today we will see it. Okay, what about we've not done evaluation. Okay, anyone wants to talk on evaluation? Can I have the last table? Sadiq's table. Yes. Yes. That's one.
So, with evaluation.
Please, can we all eyes on him?
So,
tell him all eyes on him.
So with evaluation, I said how one seeks to confirm what one seeks to understand. Because basically what I'm trying to say is we have observation, we have the interpretation, and we have evaluation. After you've observed, you have to interpret whatever you have observed. And that will lead to the evaluation. The evaluation has to basically do with how you want to confirm that whatever you've observed, whatever you've interpreted, let's say you observed a smell, as someone said, with the senses, something is smelling bad, then you have to interpret what kind of smell is it. Is it gas? Is it something? Yeah. Then evaluation. I think the process of trying to interpret it, then evaluation comes in.
Okay.
Exactly. Then you go to the inference where it involves like you need facts to confirm that whatever you've observed, interpreted, evaluated is true or not.
Okay, okay. So you see how they were quiet table, you rope them in. You don't assume that they are not participating. He has actually had, what's a brother or the Mayan? They know, but you have to draw them in. Okay, which means I'll be coming more to you because I now know that you know. Okay, yes.
These are some of the sharp-brained people that you have in
See,
class. So.
you see, observation,
Right?
and then you inferred, but you didn't do the
I
investigation.
thought that he was in another world, but you see.
And he was using his phone, so you might think he's not participating. But he may not have written it down. Again, every child is different. I'm not saying you're a child, though, I'm sorry. But just because they are not doing exactly what you want them to do, doesn't mean they are not listening or they don't understand. There's a kid, he'll be playing, when you ask me a question, he will tell you what you said. He's listening, no. So when you realize that, then you manage it in a way so that the other children too don't feel like, for him he can play. But you also don't restrict him. So it's a balance in a way. Okay, so can I have the slide? Now again, what you said are correct, but because I have an objective for you to understand what I want to know, you to know, we would be referring to my notes, okay? But now you have an understanding, so in a way you are picking the words that are synonymous or they are matching. So I'm not pushing, especially with subjects that we are not marking, right? Don't be so strict that you have to say evaluation, you have to say this. Let's leave room. But the ones that we are marking, that's where teaching comes in. But you also blend it with this. Or you can say, in the examination room, this word is important. So make sure it's there. So they will go round, and they will come back to the word. Okay. So let's look for the definition. Observational. Okay, so one table can take it, and then we'll go around. So this one is not partiality. You people, I'm watching you. Yes. The slide before.
No. Yes, this one. Please, you are talking observation, interpretation, evaluation, and inference. What is the woman doing there? What is she doing?
Again, you find children like this in your classroom. Is she thinking, which stage? Is she in observation or she's in inference? She's taking a focus. She's maybe evidence gathering. You never know. That's observation. He has good observation skills for I didn't even realize. So give it to that table. And then we read the first definition, maybe the first paragraph, and we'll leave the rest because of time.
Observation means intentionally paying close attention to what is around and the information you are taking in. Notice what details stand out. Can you recognize any pattern or trend? Can I continue? Or should I?
Okay, you continue.
Okay. Being observant helps students quickly identify problems and possible solutions.
Okay.
You must be intentionally observant.
Okay, so I just want, at the back of your mind, someone shared up, I think it was you, about a student who is not good with math or something and needs to be repeated. Let's say that is our problem. And we might all have a similar student. What have we observed about that student? Can we write it down? What are some of the things, or you can even shout it at me. What are some of the things you realize? So that we go through the process
and try to see what is wrong with the knowledge that we have, limited though. They like to play football, okay? So they are not good with classroom skills, but when it comes to the hobby time stuff, they are there. Fantastic. What else? Some are slow. What do you mean by slow learner? You sit down 101, okay. What else? Most of them are bullies, okay. What else? Please, someone should note all this down because it is what we'll be building on to get to the last end, okay? So please, someone can have it down. Yes. Some are very reserved. Okay. Now, another question. Once you've repeated them, because we've repeated some of them before, what happens to them? What do you see? Some change. When you say change, what do you mean?
Begin to see progress, but with others, it's like it's still the same.
It's still the same, okay? So it's not 100% solution. Okay, what else? Some get worse.
They become more withdrawn.
More withdrawn. Okay, interesting. What else? Yes.
Some also give up and want to change schools.
Interesting. The last one. That's what you want to say. Some even drop out. That's interesting. You see the consequence of repeating them. No, I think it's only you who said the positive thing about repeating them. That's some of them, and I don't even know the percentage. Is it 50%, 90% that do well? 20% do well. So you have that solution that doesn't promise success. Why do we still do it? Again, it goes with observation where we said it has to be intentional. So maybe because you've seen one student do well, then the rest should also do well. Again, we observed, we inferred. We didn't go through the process. There may be a reason why some of them did better than me. And pushing them in that class. So something changed externally.
They now mature and are in the class, so they will improve.
Okay, so you see how we are doing observation. Yes.
Like, I think actually repeating a child depends on a lot of things.
Yeah.
One, like you said, we need to observe the child. We need to know why he or she is acting the way he's doing. Is it because he's better at other things? And because he's not able to get what you want him to get, possibly he's already frustrated. So, like you said, they get to bully others, or they get to play when others are playing. But some other too, like some parents will actually come to let you know that, look, I understand that my child is not pulling up his or her weight, and I think that if the child will be given another opportunity in that same class, maybe he or she could do better. When it's on that case where it's a mutual agreement, a lot of times you see a lot of improvement. But sometimes too, when it is maybe his disability is what is affecting, and we haven't found the time to see what actually is wrong, and we are always yelling at the child, making him feel worse. Of course, repeating would only just worsen it.
Exactly. And finding the time, you may think, oh, I don't have time already. But those that we repeat, it's not half the class, is it? It's not even 20 students or 10 students. Normally it's 1, 2, or 3 at most. Can we have time for the 3 kids? Please, he said. That's all we are asking. Yes, you were saying something.
Well, I think we're at the same place, because sometimes you repeat them and it affects their level of confidence and self-esteem. You move them forward, you still are not getting results. So in a situation like that, what do you
What
think
you
is the
do.
best alternative?
Exactly. So this is where we are coming to. You've observed. Let's not jump to a solution right now. Let's find out. So that's why I said write down these traits, and then we'll try to get the end and see if we will get. I don't have the answer, but maybe at the end we can figure it out. Okay. So next one, interpretation. So observation has to be, as she read, has to be intentional, has to be purposeful. Okay, this is where critical thinking comes in. It's not just thinking, it is critical thinking. And you are not being judgmental. As it is what you are saying. If it is red, it is red. You don't say it's indigo or it looks a bit like brownish orange. No. If it's red, it's red. You put your judgments aside. Okay. For example, how many red things are in this room? You see what you're doing? You're now looking. Because when you came in, it wasn't important for you to notice what is red. Who was going to ask you? But when I asked you, you started looking. So when the child becomes important to you, you start looking. You may have missed something in class. It happens, we are humans. But once it comes to your attention, you become intentional. Okay, and then you start noticing all the red things in the room. Okay, the next. No. Interpretation. Okay, the next table. This table, yes. And let's be fast small for me. Please, is it making sense so far? We thank God.
Interpretation is understanding what information is telling you. What the information is telling you. Ask yourself, do you grasp the important point? Could you clearly explain it to someone else? If not, you may need to ask questions or complete more research.
Okay, does this make sense? It makes sense. So after you've observed what is important from all that you are seeing. So example, when I said look for red things, you will leave the blue things, you leave the white things, right? We are only focusing on what is important for us, not what is aligning with my judgment, but what is important. And can you explain it to someone else without judgment? And one way to improve critical interpretation is through practice. So one way that they found is when you read stories and you can share the story to another person, or you have an idea you can explain to a 5-year-old without confusing the 5-year-old. You are improving your interpretation skills. Okay, you are not making it complicated, you are saying it as it is without adding your juices to it. Can we read the third one? The evaluation. Okay, next table. Please, we'll jump this table, okay? We'll jump them.
Evaluation and analysis are important aspects of critical thinking. Not only do you need to understand the information, but you also need to identify what is important. To solve the problem or make a decision, sometimes the solution is in your ability to truly understand the root of the problem. Evaluation helps you to get to the root. It is also the ability to ask relevant questions, gather facts from trustworthy sources, and assess your research.
Fantastic. So let's go back to the child that we want to repeat. Okay, so we are doing interpretation. I know you won't understand. Why don't you understand? I will not jump again. So let's do interpretation and evaluation together. From all that we said, what is important, what is not important? What questions should we ask further? Or is it okay, the information that we have? Can we move forward? So yes, he likes playing football.
Should we leave it like that and say, okay, maybe he's a footballer, so we should remove him from school and let him focus on a football career? Or can you ask more questions?
Hello.
And who would you ask?
Okay.
And who would you ask? Sadiq, I'll come, okay. Who would you ask these questions? Where are your sources? Is there another child that used to be like him, but is now better? What made a difference? Do you get it? So now you are sifting out information. You are going beyond what you just see to what is behind the reason. Behind the reason. Okay, so Siddiq, you can talk.
Okay, so with a child that has been repeated, okay, we've observed that the child is not a good student, so we have to repeat the child. After observing, then we are trying to interpret why that is happening. So there are factors involved. So for a student, let's say a student in grade 5 who is not good and you want to help, you would have to find out, does the child have a solid foundation? Is there any problem at home? At school too, are there any problems at school? The teachers teaching this kid, are they doing the right things? Because you get to find out that some of these kids have a very weak foundation. If it has to do with their phonics, like with their math, they have a problem there. And the moment a child has a problem with English, it's a very big problem. It cuts across all the subjects. So if you get to find out that that child is not strong in a subject, or the child is genuinely weak in all subjects, you have to consider all these factors to help the child, not to necessarily repeat the child and repeat the child and repeat the child over and over.
So it's with being open-minded. So the difference between usually a classroom and the playing field is he's less judged in the playing field. So his confidence is not that bruised easily. When he falls down, it's part of the game. In the classroom, when you fall down, you have failed. Like, if you feel it's bad. Do you get it? So maybe we need to work on the confidence. He said about the foundation. Just because his foundation is also weak doesn't mean there's no hope. Have you seen a building that they did a foundation for just one floor, but before you've realized they've done 2-3 floors? What did they do? What did they do different? They didn't dig the ground, though, to redo the foundation. What did they do different? More columns. So these are external things. They were not initially part of the building. But because we want to raise it higher, what do we have to do? Put columns. So what are the columns I need to put in for the child? I don't need to break the house down. Just the columns. And it solves it, and it will support the top, as if it's the bottom that is supporting a lie. So maybe even through football, I can bring some friends that speak good English. We had a kid who he won't talk to me. Why did you mention the name? We are alive. He won't talk to me when I first met them. And was later Emmanuel was telling me that his English is not good, so he thinks maybe I'll laugh at him or I will judge him wrongly. I was like, okay. I will push small, but he will still not. Now, I'm telling you, this kid is teaching other kids in English. It's still not too good, though. But he's doing it. He's gained confidence. So he didn't really need the English to do well, but he needed the confidence. And he's now doing science. He was a student, they told me point blank. And for this student, he's part of the team because he's not good. He's in the team for artistic purposes. I was like, nah, lie. No kid is just for artistic purposes. He's coding. Trust me, he's coding. When we did a STEAM fair, this guy is the one telling us where to put, like, it will shock you. In how many weeks did they spend? Less than 3 months. And he's doing this. So maybe sometimes it's not the English or the math, which is important. But sometimes the pillars could be the friends. Sometimes the pillars could be, okay, let's do a storybook. Okay? Sometimes it's when you're coaching him in the football, how can we
use that. You see, when you dribble this and this is like angles. So this is like a hypotenuse. You're using the same football and you will get it. So columns is something that we can also think about. Is that okay? Yes, sir. It's not about my presentation, right? Okay.
Hello, madam. My name is Samuel Besigati, District Physical Education Coordinator. Please, Gumwa Central. Looking at what we are learning in a case study on board concerning the child which has been repeated. Then, if I look through well, Ghana, we have failed. Ghana. Because looking at what we are learning, look at what we are learning. You go to a basic school class, one to class, one teacher with 45 students. How can you oversee the children's performance? So I suggest that every class needs to have one teacher, maximum 3. One should be interpreting the difficulties the children will go through. And one be a sole teacher for the class, and one should analyze their problems. Other than that, because what you are learning now is very good, and I know for sure we need to, this must work, so that things will change in the country. Other than that, we will remain the same as it is. This is my suggestion.
There's truth in what you said, in an ideal situation. But then again, let us not limit ourselves because we don't have the ideal situation. Again, how many children do we want to repeat? Do we suggest they repeat? There are about 3 or so. So we may have overlooked them because of the numbers. But when they come, let us not be quick in our judgment. Imagine the doctor was treating you like that, for which some of them do. That I look at you, okay, you have headache, it's para. They don't take their time to go through and ask you all the nuances, all those things, to find out what is actually causing the headache. It could be just stress. It could be that you hit your head against the wall. It could be lack of sleep, anything. It could be something that is happening somewhere in your body, but the pain is showing up in your head. Do you get it? So if you don't want the doctor to treat you like that, why are you treating our future leaders like that? That's all. Okay, the last one, we don't have time, sorry. The last one, inference. Okay. They have a special question.
We have the mic.
When we make a conclusion based on our collected evidence and research, we are making an inference. You may not have all the information you need, but it can help you narrow down your choices for solution or decision. Your inferences will become more accurate with practice.
What words jump out to us here? Practice. Pardon? Collective evidence, okay. Research. So your decision is not just based on your observation. It's based by the process you've allowed yourself to pass through. Again, it's not based by what you think, your judgment. That, oh, I saw a kid like that. Leave them, they are like that. Please, I beg, let me have my presentation. Yes. So it's based, again, it says you may not have all the information, so i.e., it is not an ideal solution, right? But maybe you are bound with time and you need to make a decision. You don't have to wait for everything to be 100%, but based on what you have, and you know that it goes beyond you, which means you've asked other people, you've researched, you've listened, you are now making your choice. A choice you can sleep soundly with. Okay? And then you make it. So maybe when you go back home or back to the school, when we do our investigation, what can help the kid? Maybe repetition may help. Maybe too, we need to build pillars. Maybe he needs counseling, or the parents are even the problem. I have said it. The parents are the problems, or the teachers. That one you wanted me to say it. Yes. So an example is, I was telling you about the headmistress issue. So we received a call that this young person has tried to beat a teacher. And my first question to the headmistress is, has this boy ever been violent? He said, no, but violence is not allowed, even if it's the first time. It's like, this student has been with you from nursery up to this time. He's never been violent, not once. So why are we punishing him? One, in front of all the students, you are sending him back home again. Made him kneel down in front of everybody. And then you are suspending him. And the parents were not even in town. You call the parents and say, I called the driver to come for him. Hey, what was happening to your heart? That you can't wait. It was in the middle of school hours. They have not closed. The parents should bring their driver to come for the child. You can't accept violence. There's a kid who had never done that. They went to the counselor for him to talk to the counselor. The boy just looked at the counselor's like, I don't think he's remorseful. Those were her words on the call because of the way he was looking at me. I was like, could it be that he was confused? And that was how he was just expressing it. Like, how shocked she was when she saw me come up. She didn't know it was me coming to talk. She was just looking at me odd for a minute or two. But some teenagers will just look at you blank for some time. And because he was not crying, he was not begging, he's not remorseful. Maybe you are saying, because you know the outcome. I've told you the outcome. But maybe if I started from the beginning, you might have also thought the same. Later we asked, I'll go and ask. I went to the school and asked, why this teacher? What is happening in the class? I asked some students around and all that. And apparently it was the teacher's birthday. And he's this thick, tall, big guy, like those COVID babies that were just in their room, and so they just multiplied times 3 in size. And he came and just hugged the teacher like this. It was good intention. So you can understand why he was shocked. I just wanted to do something good. And you're not just saying bad things about me, but you're punishing me. Do you get how hurt you would be? Some kids sadly go home and they will kill themselves because they can't stand the pain. This is a kid who was suicidal. But luckily we had worked with him. And so he was at a good place, Kakra. Imagine if he was aware I met him at first. Enche. Why? Because of something you would have said to him. And we won't understand because he won't write it in his letter. So you see why you don't have to jump from observation to inference. I know I'm teaching critical thinking, but it has become... Do you get it? So you take your time. These are future leaders. In fact, they are today leaders. They are today leaders. When you're not there, they are the ones that open the door. They know where your money is. They know most things than you. So we have to be very, very careful. So even when you are teaching them, bring these examples. Don't say my own, no. But like how students normally jump into conclusions. So you are going like, mommy doesn't like me. But maybe there's a reason. I was talking to Auntie right now, and she was talking about communication, how kids should communicate with their children, their parents, and parents communicating, and making sure that you are heard, right? Maybe daddy doesn't want you to do this, and you go like, Afo, you don't understand. You don't like me. But if you understand that we are all different people, and maybe daddy is the person that when you come, you have to have a pie chart of why you are going to ABC, what time are you going to come, what dress are you wearing? Maybe he's that kind of man. So by the time I approach Daddy, I have all my answers. He cares about me enough that he wants to know what car I'm sitting in, which friend I'm going with, what time am I coming. And he will call at the time. And you let them know that if Daddy was no more today, you would wish someone was checking up on you. And that realization makes them appreciate what Daddy is doing. Then when you go to Daddy to you tell him, Daddy, these are Gen Z babies. Yeah? Chill small. When they say 9:30, you make it 9:31. Just give them 1 minute. Right? Then we are balancing both sides. Neither side is wrong, but it's just the delivery. Okay? So, please, who here thinks they can teach on critical thinking? Who understands critical thinking? You can apply it or become a better critical thinker. Who here thinks so? Oh, 3. Oh, if it's all of you, I want to see the hands. Evidence-based. I'm making inference. Okay, so I have 3 people from this table. 1 from that, 1 from that, 2 from here. All of them, but they are not raising their hands. I'm making inference. And make me feel good. Please, was that useful? So when you go to your classrooms and we give you the workbooks, so it's coming with the workbook. This is like more of a teacher guide. There's a workbook. I didn't go ditto to the slides. Some I skipped. So again, prepare. Make sure you've gone through the material. How many times do you think I've taught this? How many times do you think I've taught on this topic? This Ubuntu curriculum thing? Oh, how many times? First time. Did I do a good job? I killed it. That's because this woman will not let me sleep. Last night, I had a busy week, but we had to burn midnight. I have evidence. I put her on my WhatsApp status so that they will know that she's the one who did it to me. I slept around 3 a.m. just trying to put this together and see how. When we went to lunch, I didn't go for lunch. I sat here trying to see how I can deliver it in a way that you are not just going to be, okay, like post office, you've taken my package, you've given it to the person. Nothing happens to you. Because it's when you are impacted that you can impact. It's only the blessed that can bless. Do you get it? The same way you are teaching the children. Because when you touch the child, he has siblings, he has friends. Do you get it? So you are paying it forward in a way. Do you get it? So teach them to also be able to teach and not just live it or know it so that we can mark it 100%. Again, we are raising them to be thinkers and doers, not just people who have knowledge. Okay, that is what we came to do. So in conclusion, we did a check-in, right? Let's do a check-out. An example of a check-out. Sweetheart, do you have it on the board? Do you have it on the slide? You didn't? Okay. Yes. Can we put it there, the new one? So again, you're going to write on your paper. Maybe this time turn it, right on the other side. Do you have the last slide? Before we start, can you put the rooster on the board? Sorry. So let me test your critical thinking. Just one assignment. Just one. So imagine, so I'm a science person. I have a rooster standing on top of a roof. Okay? He's facing, what side is that? Is that left or right? He's facing right. Okay? And he's about to fly. But then there's wind coming at 10 miles per hour, opposite direction. And then this rooster lays an egg. Where do you think the egg will fall? As he's about to jump, lays an egg. Where do you think the egg will fall? Left or right? Yes. You don't make it nice. Who else? Left or right? Hey, don't answer my question again. But how many of you are going to say right or left? Sincerely. Thank you for being honest. Hey, so you people, you are all going to say, you're lying. Yeah, but not everybody thought of it. So, again, observation, interpretation. Okay, so I said the story, and because you saw a fowl, fowls, you think of eggs, right? I've given you wind, I've given you his jumping. But what is important for your interpretation? Some people will jump it. What was important was, he's a rooster, where from the egg? So that's when you start asking questions. Why is this child doing this? When he's supposed to be doing this? This kid used to be very smart in my class. All of a sudden, he's not paying attention. Something is happening. You get it? So, when you take your evidence, you start sipping in what is important, what is not. Okay, can we have our checkout? You didn't make my quiz nice. I want to give you again. Yes. Whenever he picks the mic, I'm shocked.
In my village, some roosters lay eggs. Yes, it's true. Some lay eggs. When they grow fat, they lay eggs. So the scenario should be looked into.
It should be investigated.
Yes.
Please. Please, I need evidence. So maybe bring one to our house. And then, yes, evaluation. Okay. The checkout, please. Hey, you people, that table, eh? Don't give them the microphone again. Why? They'll pollute all of us. Okay. So, first of all, start with this. What did you learn? What did you unlearn today? What did you relearn? What did you learn? What did you unlearn? What did you relearn? And then, what 3 things are you going to implement today? I'm not asking for the big things. I'm asking for the needle-moving things. Maybe I'm going to buy a book on critical thinking. Maybe when I go in, I'm going to make a call and say sorry to someone I misjudged. Maybe I'm going to keep quiet more, listen more, and prepare some questions before I go to class. What are 3 needle-moving things that you're going to start implementing today? Not tomorrow when you go, today. Today. And then if every student, as I said earlier, was to bear your mark, your tattoo, your stamp, what would that tattoo say? In the olden days, to mark slaves, they had symbols. What would yours say? I know they passed through a lot of teachers' hands, but yours, what would they say? And then we watched the video about Mr. Jensen. How much would you invest in yourself? Are you willing to invest in yourself? Not the government, not your head teacher, you yourself, to be a Mr. Jensen. Do you even want to be like a Mr. Jensen? It will come at a cost. How much are you willing to invest? And let me make it money-wise. Just for a reason. How much money would you invest in yourself every year as a teacher to become someone like Mr. Jensen? So let's do this in the next 7 minutes because it's... So a checkout is normally a reflection, right? Check-in, you try to link it to what you're about to do, but it's more fun. A checkout is more of a reflection, but it's individual.
the price of what you write is what Sylvia will charge you. So please. She'll give you the money. This one is self-invested. I added that last minute because last 2 years my grandma was very sick. I took her to 37 hospital. And just opposite her was another woman. Critical situation. Grandma can't talk, but at least she could see us and all that. And then she tapped one of us and asked, are we special nurses? Because she will see 2 minutes, 1 minute, then there's someone by my grandma. Not the nurse, not the ones dressed, it was us. Her grandchildren, her children, people from her church. Everybody's coming to see how she is. And they are not coming empty-handed. There's a woman who had stroke, and so you can't see who is visiting her. But people were coming. And she was wondering why. It was later when she died that the testimonies that were coming out made sense. For me, it makes sense that I would stay by my grandma. But even that, how many times? The woman had children, some in Accra here, some outside. I can count the number of times someone came to stay by her, even during visitors' hours. Me, visiting hours, when it's finished, and you tell me to go, I'll go stand at the door. When you leave, I'll come back inside. Even though the woman could not see me, but I wouldn't leave her side because I didn't trust the doctors. She had that attention from us. But the other woman didn't have. Why? Because of the investment she had made in my life. She raised me. It was later I even came to live with my mom. So she was more like a mother. And so because of that, it was natural for me to do that. So I realized that even on our group pages, school pages, there are some teachers, they go like, oh, this teacher needs help. And some go like, oh, this teacher that kid does. But there are some, you don't even wait for them to get sick. We are going for anniversary, school anniversary, and we are contributing to do stuff for them. The difference is the level of investment we made. It may not be money, but the word you spoke, the how you gave, the attention. And so to be like Mr. Jensen, as I said, there's more special gene. There are things you need to learn, like this critical thinking, emotional intelligence, leadership. There's coaching in education and it's focused on teachers. How many of us have done coaching before? Not you doing the coaching, but being a coach as an educator. How many of you? These are services that are available to you. You may not know where to find them, but they are available. Again, seek and you shall find. To make you a better teacher, right? You're not doing it for the government. You're doing it because you're improving yourself as an individual. Just like there are promotions in every job, you are seeking to better yourself. So you're not just seeking promotion in the job alone. That's okay, after this number of years, I should be this headmaster here, I should be this here. No. But you're improving yourself. You will realize that your people skills and your network even broadens. A teacher can sit here and can command things from the Flagstaff house. Networking. Meanwhile, the car is driving, doesn't look like anything. But he can call and say, I want my child at Boucher or this, and he will get it. Influence. And these are things you can build on, learn. We don't have to wait for freebies. I'm not pitching anything to you, I'm not selling anything to you. But if you are willing today to invest in yourself, you start looking. Where can I get this kind of learning? And it's not that in the university. I'm sorry. There are special organizations that do this. Find a coach if you are willing and start building yourself up. I just use Mr. Benson as an example. I could have used Mr. Right? That's all I'm saying. So in a year, how much do you think you will invest in yourself? Someone say, it depends on how much you get. It could be. Someone who can say that if I need a it doesn't depend on how much I'll get. I will find the money to get it. So it depends on actually how much you value it. To say I'm putting this percentage down. Do you get it? Okay. So before we get into things, what did you notice in the facilitation skills today? Just quickly. What skills did you see? That goes to the what did you learn, relearn. What skills can you implement? What skills did you see? Oh, sorry. Oh, fix it.
Table by table then. What skill did you see me do? Or something I can even change? Yes. Constant engagement, next table. Check in, check out. Involving learners. Now I've come to you, answer. Active listening.
Open-ended questions.
Open-ended questions. I did that, eh? Wow. Observant. Good. And that was important, eh? This table. The setting, okay? Everybody's participating. I've not heard from you. I don't want to see Dick again. Paying attention to activities, and you said preparedness. Thank you. So just pick out these things. You may not do all at once. I didn't even realize I was smiling. Do you get it? But the kids pick up these things, and it helps. And you may not do all at once, but we grow. It's a practice. Okay, who can share with us their checkout? You can share one or two or all of them. What did you learn, unlearn, relearn? How much are you investing in yourself? What 3 things, needle-moving things? I'm not saying go and buy a house and start putting children in. I don't want those big investments. Just the small, small things you can do today. Yes, sir.
Like what I've learned from your presentation, I picked some lines from you. You said, do you want to get the right things done, or you want to seem to be the right? And I think I really took that. Yes, so I learned that I should get the right things done, rather than trying to look as the right person. And also, I unlearned, meaning like now I've taken this thing from my mind. I've unlearned that the way to get students to do better in class is not necessarily to repeat them, but probably to find the reasons why their output is not to your expectation. So henceforth, even though I'm not encouraging that in the universities, but we will still be giving you the D and all those things though, but yes, we will still give you the D, but it's not good. From today I've learned that it's not the best. Then let me end by like what mark or tattoo my students have. The simple thing is don't give up, because I'm the type I will push you to really get it done when you are willing. So I always want to create the willingness for my student to get it done. So my tattoo will be, it is doable when you give it a good try. Don't give up.
Thank you. Thank you. Another table, please. I like it when the tables that we're not talking now, they say they'll talk.
All right, starting from the first 3 things I've learned, today I've gotten it that critical thinking, Since this new curriculum came, we've heard it over and over and over. But today it's come to me in a very simple terms. Observation, evaluation is part of it, then inference. So these things are what makes it. So it's not simple for me, so I can gradually guide my kids to apply these things. And the next question says, the three things I've learned, apart from critical thinking, kindness, kindness, kindness. Then also, the questions are not there again.
How much investment you make? What tattoo?
The tattoo is a lot. But I will take, I can do all things, because I'm in the early grade, so self-confidence, and then just in a nutshell, let's take it, I can do all things. Yes, and then how much investment? As it does not depend on my pay, it depends on the information I have. Because I remember I was talking about this life coach thing. I never knew I could even get it around. Yes, and I've tried doing it outside, and the prices they call, trust me, it's not interesting at all. So yes, it also depends on the information we have. If we know how to assess these things, I have been so enthusiastic since the day I was told about these things, you know, and they are so crucial to us as adults, first of all, and to be able to invest as much opportunities as I can assess. Thank you.
This table.
Thank you. For the first one, the three things I'm going to implement. Number one, prepare. Two, check in. And the last one, check out. And then, what did you learn? So, I learned about the checking in, and then combining facilitation and coaching. And then the relearn, I relearned about critical thinking. And then the unlearning, there's a reason to everything. So we need to dig deep and get the reason why the student is not doing well. The stamp or the tattoo is the progress that matters. So we are not expecting the student to do some magic. If you got a D last time, try and get a C, and we can move it from there. And then how much would I would invest? Monetarily, about 100 to 500 every month. Yeah, that should be okay.
Thank you. And so with that, we'll try and see if we can later share opportunities that are available. There are some freebies available. We'll do some research. And then the ones that are paid. So freebies are nice, but if you've done a paid session, you see the difference. So once in a while, it may not be every month that you do the paid one, but at least every quarter, every half a year, or once a year. Okay, you can start with that. One paid one, you invest in yourself, and then you do some freebies as well. Just the balance. And that can even bring you more money if you think about it. You are investing and you reap it in a way. You may sit by someone in a paid version, and then an idea will strike. People are doing something. Oh, let's take extra classes to a different level, and you are collaborating in a way. Charlie, you don't know. This table. Anything, any answers from you? The other mic. Why are you pointing here?
Okay, so at the end of it, I have learned that I am going to implement remediation to learners who are lagging behind. Instead of repeating them, I will schedule my time, and then I will give them a little of my time, so that all those who are lagging, I'll get time for them to remediate them of where they are lagging, and then I'll take it from there. And also, I have learned to come down to the level of the learners when I am imparting knowledge to them, because maybe a child from the homecoming has been influenced on so many issues or has been encountering so many problems at home. So when the child comes to school, it is my duty to come down to whatever level the child finds his or herself, so that I'll be able to impart the knowledge. And with that, it will stick in the child's mind and it will never depart from him or her. And also, I have learned to motivate all these kids, or I will encourage them in order for them to grasp whatever I have for them at the end of it. So that is all.
And the tattoo?
With the tattoo, okay, I want them to know, okay, I want them to see me as the best for them.
Fantastic. Anyways, so the last two, if you've not spoken, this is your last chance. The last two. We don't have time. So the last two, I wish I could go around to everybody. So I have one. Who's going to be the last person? Okay. Yes, please. I've seen it. Thank
Okay, I also want to talk about what I have learned today. I have learned that the fact that a child misbehave in class or do something different doesn't mean the child is stubborn or the child is not serious. But maybe in a way the child is trying to tell us what he or she knows best.
Okay. What I also learned, I've learned how to try and merge change with facilitating and coaching. And I've also learned not to just observe, but bear as well. I've learned not to just observe and bear, but to do the four. And then what do we think that I will implement? I'm going to watch more YouTube videos on how to facilitate and coach. And then I'll try and apply for leadership in Canada and also reflect on the four.
Fantastic. Put your hands together, everybody. One last thing before I go. Can we close our eyes? Just put everything down. And just be fully relaxed. Eyes closed. Be in your most relaxed state. Leave the phones. Oh, you don't need to put your head down. You see, just like your children. Please, eyes closed. Indulge me for a few minutes. Just close your eyes. Be flexible. Make sure that you have space around you. Okay. Now I want you to breathe in very heavily. Breathe out. Breathe in once again. Breathe out. And now as you're breathing in, I want you to breathe in everything that we've learned, as if you are assimilating it again. Just breathe in. See that it's going into your lungs, getting into your arteries, wherever it is, to wherever your body needs it. And then bring out all the things you are unlearning as you are breathing out. Breathing once again all the things that you need to learn or you've learned today. Breathe out everything that used to stand in your way, your mindset, everything that needs to clear. And just holding that thought. I want you to see yourself walking in the streets, somewhere you like. You are just walking. It could be in the market, it could be in the mall, it could be at the airport. Just imagine yourself somewhere. And you are comfortable, you are just minding your own business. And you hear someone mention your name from afar. The voice is not familiar, but you don't know if it's you that they are talking about.
and then you feel a tap on your shoulder. I want you to feel the tap on your shoulder. You turn around and there's this unassuming kid. Well, now the person is in their 20s. You are maybe in your 40s or your 50s. Just add 15 years to your age right now. And you see a 20-something-year-old child just tap you. And you don't know why they tapped you, but they said, "Oh, Mr. This, Madam This, I'm so happy I've seen you. Do you remember when I was this child and you helped me to do this? Do you remember how you said this to my life and this transformed me? Do you know that that day I was going to kill myself, but because you saw me, today I'm the general manager of so-and-so bank. I'm the pilot going to take you on your trip today. I'm the nurse helping your mother in the sick place. Do you remember how you spoken to me? Do you remember how you paid attention to me in class? When people were bullying me, you made me sit by you in class. Today, look at me. Now, from the tip of your head to the sole of your feet, I want you to feel every emotion you are feeling in that moment. Are you feeling chills? Are you beaming with smiles? Are you crying? How are you feeling? Just hearing that testimonial. Feel the way you want to feel 15 years from now, because you paid attention to a child, because you looked someone in the face and said, "You are beautiful, you are smart, you are worthy, I'm here for you." Now, in your own time, you can just open your eyes. Some of you were smiling. Someone picked a handkerchief and was just tearing. These stories are true. It happens. It happens, and it can happen for you as well. You don't know who these children are going to be, where you're going to meet them. But it's an investment that you don't reap only in heaven. You can reap here as well. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this was a blessing.
The best checkouts we've had, I think we need to do one last exercise. Let's all be on our feet. And just pledge to yourself. This one, you are not pledging to us, you are pledging to yourself. The better version of you going forward. That is your takeaway from here. Because you have to be impacted. And in being impacted, it has to be a better version of when you walked in this morning. We have only 60 seconds, 1 minute to do that. I have a lot of check-in and check-outs. And I think that in my small corner, I'll try and brighten the space. Please, you can have your seats now. Hopefully, when we meet somewhere, I may not be able to make you out because I didn't go around every table, but anywhere you meet me, please call me out and remind me that on this day we were here, and this is what we did together. Because I have also learned a lot today, and I'm sure it's going to help me in my small place at the church where I am a children's service teacher. Once you are a teacher, always the teacher you will be. We will have the closing remarks from Mrs. Akwabua, and afterwards, I would want a teacher, one of us to volunteer to give the vote of thanks. It isn't on the schedule, but at least we need to applaud ourselves for making it this far. There are many people who wanted to be here, they were not able to. And all that we have learned, at least we need to also show appreciation to the facilitators. So let's welcome Mrs. Akabwa with a round of applause. Do you have a check-in and a check-out?
It's all been done.
Whew. I don't know about how you guys are feeling, but I am so emotional, and I'm not even the ones going to directly impact these kids from today. But I know we have sown seeds. And I am grateful that we called and you answered. And not only did you answer, you have come as very eager learners. Not just learning, but ready to go back to make an impact. How many of you have been impacted yourselves today? How many of you feel like you're going to be able to make a difference? Can we give a huge round of applause to Miss Eugenia? Eugenia, my goodness. We can't thank you enough. We are grateful, we're grateful, we're grateful. I have learned so much today from you. She has told you to invest in yourselves. And everything that you're going to be doing is what she's asking. You're going to be encouraging these kids to do is what she's telling you to lead on and asking you to do. So whilst you may have our curriculum and be learning about the different things on financial literacy and leadership mindset and time management and critical thinking, invest in yourself as a person, because that is what makes you stand out from the next person. This is what takes you into management. This is what makes you transcend from, being a teacher to a head teacher and being a district person and eventually, working at a higher managerial level. That's what makes the difference. That is what makes the difference. We're here to stand out. Too many people are, just being ordinary. But you guys that answered and heeded the call, when most of your heads asked me what kind of teachers that we needed, they thought it was going to be more ICT and, online based, so they thought it was just we needed ICT students. I said, no, bring your dynamic teachers. Bring your teachers that love to learn. Bring your teachers that like to impact the kids. And that's what all of you are. And I am so grateful and so touched that you're here. Like I have said before, this is just the start. We're going to create a community. Abigail is going to contact all of you in the next week or so. We're going to have a WhatsApp group together. Everybody say whoop whoop. We ourselves are going to be a community of learners. Yes? Because we just can't do it once, right? We're going to keep pouring into ourselves. And like Eugenia said, if you're a school here that has a small budget, she's a coach. You have seen what she's capable of. Bring her in and get all staff together and just pour into yourselves. Yeah, that's all it takes. Sikane dear, there is never enough. There is never enough, right? But what are our priorities? You guys have prioritized learning and you're here today. So if you're a head here, if you are someone that has the head's ear, and you say that we had this person that did the coaching, Madam, say, I really think that we should get her in and have all of our teachers need to meet her and let her have training. I think that, it will be worth it. There's so much. As for us, all we're doing is coaching you to coach these students depending on the kind of schools that you're in. But to be a better teacher, to be a better coach, to be a better facilitator, she's your woman, all right? And I know she didn't, advertise herself, but I am advertising her because I know what she can do, and you guys have seen what she can do. Our curriculum and workbooks will soon be online. We're actually waiting for a courier to give you handbooks. From now on, our learning group, our small cozy group, is called our Coaching Excellence Group. That's what we are. So for our Coaching Excellence Group, we have our curriculum ready, and we have a printed version. I don't know if we're going to have it before we dismiss. The biker is on his way, but we only have the handbooks for everybody and just the secondary schools. That's ready. We have one per school, but everything will be ready online. From our meeting last week, Sunday, to these coaching sessions, everything will be online, so you'll be able to easily access it. And please don't say data is expensive, because like we have said today, we're learning, right? It's better than TikTok. We're improving ourselves for people to watch us in future. And those people that you're watching on TikTok, some of them are not even worth it. We look and we laugh, and you go and sit, really, when you sit and reflect, we know we've learned nothing from them, right? So let's get our data towards something that will change us. All right, so we are John Maxwell coaches, and it's all about that. We need to stand out, and you need to learn so much that people are also watching you, right? If Eugenia had a YouTube channel, how many people would be tuning in every day rather than watching some useless TikTok, right? Eugenia, do you have a YouTube channel? Yeah, but it's not effective. It's not effective. Okay, all right. Okay, so we'll get everything online, and when it's ready, we'll let you know. Every other month, we'll get together on Zoom. Again, please save your data for the more important things. We'll get together on Zoom. We want to hear your feedback on how you're getting on with the students on this curriculum. We also want to know how your teaching, facilitation, and coaching is going. We want to hear about what the obstacles may be. And we're not just going to sit and mourn, we're going to be problem solvers, right? Okay, so for the first one, we're not going to wait until 2 months, because that's not who we are, right? Like Eugenia said, we're doing things from today. So in a month's time, we're getting together, which means that in a month's time, we expect that at least all of you would have done at least 2 courses with your students. When you get the curriculum, what we're actually hoping for is that each topic, you treat it in 2 sessions, all right? So you've done the facilitation. The first one you may need to go through, you may need to facilitate, depending on how you decide to do it. Let's say time management is a good example. You will have a time audit sheet, right? So you talk to them about what time management is, blah, blah, blah. You have learned Eugenia's the way she does it. And then maybe give them the time audit sheet, all right? Let them go and write how they will audit their time. So the time audit is just a recording of how you have spent your whole time from morning till evening. You come back, and then it's a reflection of, oh, how much time did I waste here? How could I have used my time more purposefully? And it's not about, every day, meaning that, for 24 hours we feel like we've got to be action-oriented. Even for time to relax, it means that it's on your schedule. You are intentionally and consciously thinking about what and how you invest your time, all right? So I think for me, that's about it. I don't know if you all have questions for me. If you're from a tertiary institution, I really would like to see you after the meeting, before you jump off. I just want to understand how you are proposing to implement the curriculum, because I don't know if you intend to do it in the classroom or form clubs or whatever. I just want to understand a little bit more, all right? So that's it from us. We are deeply grateful and honored that you're on board. Like we said, It will work. It must work. We're going to make it work, right? And we're going to be on, if anybody has the ear of GES, anybody, please, keep mentioning us, all right? Ubuntu Equip Coaching, Ubuntu Equip Coaching. Let us, the more we talk about it, the more people will wish that they're part of it, all right? So it's just like, we're just amplifying it so that eventually when we get to the authorities, they will know and understand that, you know, this is important because you yourselves have learned from it. We'll have the evaluation. We have an organization that's going to be there, do the evaluation, and so they will also be in touch with all of you to see how you're getting on and to see how the children are getting on. Eugenia, can you please get the volunteers for me? I just want us to appreciate them because, again, we wouldn't have had, we couldn't have done it today without them. Have they been amazing? Have they looked after you? Ladies that are in this room, please come. Volunteers, please come in. Please come in. Quick, quick, quick. There are people that are traveling that we need to. Please come in. Just come and stand right in front. We just want to. Guys, round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Where are the rest of them? Where's everyone? Are they coming? Yeah? Anyway. So these guys, we called on them. We said we need volunteers for this program. We had to cap it at 10. And they willingly opted to come help to run today. So they have done everything from registration to making sure you've had your lunch to making sure the microphones were at the right place at the right time and many other things that they have helped to do to make our day run smoother. So please, another round of applause. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Where's Abigail? You guys need to meet Abigail. You've been on the phone with Abigail and texting with her. Please open the door. Abigail. All right, that's our program coordinator. Abigail is amazing. She is such a blessing to me. Honestly, I can't even tell you enough. Last night we were texting and I fell asleep, and it was only this morning that I realized that at almost 2 a.m. she was still working and sending stuff through. So, Abigail, thank you so much for all you do. Thank you. All right, thank you, volunteers. So we'll take a photo with the volunteers, and then we'll take a photo with all the teachers. We have to mark the register, right? We'll know that you have been here. And then we'll take the photos now. And then the volunteers first, and then, So I will come down with the volunteers, and then, Eugenia, please join us. Sybil, Rosie, you join us as well. So we'll take a photo with the volunteers, and then after that, everyone will take direction from the photographers with everyone, whether we'll be on stage or so. Thank you.